Hi, it's Joey Only here at Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers, and today I'm speaking to Ilya Storm from Avalanche Canada. Welcome, Ilya. Nice to talk to you.
Thanks for having me, Joey. Good to meet you online here.
This morning we were talking, and you were saying that basically we have two fundamental roles that are sort of different, and one that as a first responder, I'm trying to discourage people from doing things and going out. Although at the same time, I'm running this weather group with the sole purpose of trying to encourage people to know more about the wilderness and be out there and enjoy it more. Nonetheless, I can send these mixed messages, but you have your own sort of take on messaging, and I want to hear you go on about that again because it was really interesting.
Well, at Avalanche Canada, we fundamentally are an enabling organization. By that, I mean the products, the services, everything that we do is encouraging people to go into the backcountry, to go out into the mountains. And the reason for that is that that's part of what being Canadian is. That's our history in Canada. Our history is birch bark canoes and pond hockey and snowshoeing and that sort of thing. And there's real value and maybe something about identity in going out. And in today's age, that's snowmobiling, that's ski touring, that's going to a ski hill and maybe going out of bounds. Snowshoeing is a really rapidly growing sport. So people go out into the mountains in winter. And if you go out to play pond hockey, you need to check how thick the ice is. If you're going out in a canoe, you need to put on a PFD. If you're going out on a sled or skis or snowshoes in the mountains, you need to know something about avalanches. That's what we do at Avalanche Canada. We try to take something that's really complex. Forecasting avalanches is a complex process. We try to summarize it. We try to help people understand what the risks are out in the mountains so that they can recreate responsibly. That's our goal. That's our job. But ultimately, we're encouraging people to go out into the backcountry. The one way, not the best way, but one way to eliminate avalanche deaths is to eliminate access to avalanche terrain and close the backcountry. That's not what we do.
Right on. So what are some of the resources that Avalanche Canada has available before we move on to forecast?
So we work with a bunch of people. We're a communication organization. So when it comes to education, we create curriculum and try to put together the content, the ideas for recreational avalanche courses. And from that curriculum, we give it out to providers. And then in all the communities throughout BC, it's local avalanche people who provide these courses. So we're a facilitator for education. Similarly, we have a youth program where we get into schools, into elementary schools, into high schools. But again, we're at the curriculum. We have some people who deliver, and we go to the people in the communities to deliver in the high schools, in the local schools. So we facilitate that. And on the forecasting side, on the public forecast side, we work with the meteorological service for the weather forecasts, to get this amazing avalanche weather forecast, this mountain weather blog. We work with avalanche professionals throughout the province, all the heli skiing, the snowcat skiing, the ski areas, the logging, the mining, the parks. We have great communication with the people who are out in the field. And largely we try to take all the data that we can, all the information that's available and evaluate it, summarize it, and package it in a way that it's accessible for users, for visitors, for the people who are going out there to understand what the conditions are and to provide some neighborly advice for how to manage a terrain out there, how to manage a group, how to select where to go and when to go.
Right on. So today here in I live in the Caribou Mountains at 4,000 feet above sea level, and it's very windy this morning. And it's January 2nd, but it's unseasonably warm. It's hot by my estimation, even. Um, can you talk about the natural avalanche cycle? What that means? That's expected to start this afternoon in the Columbias and Caribous.
Well, the snow hates rapid change. It hates rapid change, and that means often the weather. And there's four drivers for that. New snow adds weight. If you shovel your driveway, you know how heavy the snow is, right? So you add half a meter of snow on the snowpack, it's a ton of weight, and that's a shock. Wind concentrates the snow. It concentrates it in deeper drifts or pillows behind ridges and ribs and those sorts of places. And that just adds extra weight, and it comes on even faster. So if it's snowing 1 centimeter an hour, those lee slopes, those places that are collecting the drifts, can be getting 5 centimeters or 10 centimeters of snow an hour. So that's what's going on this weekend. We're in a storm pattern. The other two drivers are solar radiation and temperature, and rapid changes to those. But right now the conditions are being driven by the snow and the wind. The story becomes more complicated because the snowpack structure also matters. The snow is not just one big blob of white, but there's layers. There's layers in there, and some of those layers from earlier in December and middle of December remain a problem. Those layers are down 50 centimeters, a meter down. And here's the thing, we get lots of obvious clues about the weather. You can see it snowing 2 centimeters an hour, or 3 centimeters an hour, or 1 centimeter an hour. You can see the wind transporting the snow. You can see cracking, as the snow's accumulating. You can see little wind slabs. All those make it easier to forecast those surface slides. The ones that are deeper, the ones that are down half a meter, you don't feel those in your skis, and you don't see them with your eyes. So with the layers that are down there, these persistent weak layers, we have to look at the data and forecast and make our plans based on the data, not based on our senses, what we're hearing, what we're seeing in the mountains. So that basically is a long way to say, with the layers that we have in the snowpack right now, we need to be disciplined during the storm and after the storm as well.
With 30, 40 more centimeters in the Pine Pass, North Rockies, the slab avalanche expectations there, can you speak about that?
Well, it's the same kind of story that I've just been describing. The other thing about avalanches is that conditions change quickly. So we're able to forecast for a day, for 2 days, an outlook to 3 days. But to go beyond that is really hard. To forecast specifically for Pine Pass, I need to be at the forecast desk of the North Rockies with my head focused on that region. So what my best answer is check the forecast. Go to avalanche.ca, check the forecast. That's giving you the best regional information. From that regional, your job as a sledder or a skier is to localize that regional summary, to go, okay, they're talking about from Pine Pass in the north, through the Torpy, down through Renshaw and McBride, out to Kakwa and back to Pine Pass. That's a huge area. The conditions vary through that, but because you're talking storm slabs or persistent slabs or this weather, is that what I'm seeing here? How do I localize to our conditions better or worse here in Pine Pass? Okay, so that's where I come back to the training, to the avalanche course, to knowing the language, to be able to use our avalanche forecasts to understand where you are what the conditions are like that. And again, we provide neighborly advice for terrain selection and travel techniques, how to manage your group in the mountains. Go to the forecast, they're updated daily, and get the latest information.
Last question was just about this line of cyclones we have out in the Pacific that's coming in this week. It's a real story. I'm just interested to hear your take on it and what you expect to happen over the next week.
It's a nice weather pattern we've been having, and there's just been a little bit of a break, and it looks like that stormy pattern is setting up again. I think that what we have to understand is we've had a really good storm pattern hitting BC. The jet stream's been over BC. That's been driving these lows. There's been lots of energy coming to us, and we've been building a snowpack. It's a little late, but we've been building it. The pattern sort of paused here for a bit, and now it looks like we're back in it. That we've got a storm, and that hopefully the track will continue to come through here. It's like many things in avalanches, there's a short-term answer and a long-term answer. And it's short-term pain. Okay, with the storms, we're going to go into avalanche cycles. We'll have natural avalanches. As these storms get bigger, the storm slabs will get bigger. You know, when you first get a little bit of snow, you get size 1, size 2 avalanches. With a multi-day storm, as that slab gets deeper, you know, when we're talking like 1.5 meter storm, those storm slabs can start running far and they can become full path events. So storm slab, you need to dig deeper and figure out where is the weakness? How big might these things go? Because they might end up running quite far. The long term, so that's the short-term pain. The long-term gain with avalanches is a deep snowpack is a safe snowpack. Okay, deep starts adding weight and squishing, and with that squishing and weight, you build hardness and strength. So it's good for me. I'm happy to see the storms because some of these layers may get squished out. So I'm actually crossing my fingers that we'll keep getting storms because that'll set us up better in the long run. Not only does it bury the alder, does it fill in the creeks, does it smooth out the terrain for better riding, but it builds a safer snowpack in the long run. I can't forecast when that will be, but I'm hoping that the payoff for all these storms is a deeper snowpack. Check the forecast because, again, you can only really forecast avalanches and conditions for 1, 2, 3 days in advance.
One of my many hats and many professional tickets I carry is fall safe ticket there. So I end up doing a lot of snow removal in the community and probably in Barkerville this next month now. So I always say it's raining money. Money's falling from the sky. Thanks so much for coming on, Ilya. That was a great interview and really appreciate hearing from you today.
Great. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Right on.
Hope we get lots of good fun riding in here the next few weeks.
Hope we talk to you again sometime.
Okay, thank you.
Alrighty.